Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We will also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 178 of my journey. It was at the beginning of the year when I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. I have also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this time frame. Now, this is only my second year running. Within the first full year of running in 2020, I was able to run 1,002 miles, and I did that within 175 days out of the 365 days in 2020. So, the 1,500 miles, as well as the 365 days in a row challenge this year, is a 50% step up in miles, as well as a 100% step up in the amount of days, not to mention in a row, that I've challenged myself to this year. Also, throughout this year, I've challenged myself to run two big races. One being a 50K trail race, an ultra marathon. I was actually able to finish it, got it done earlier this month, June 5th. I was able to finish in 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. It was a great race. I've talked about it on previous episodes ever since. But now I also have a marathon coming up here in October as well. But the main thing is I was able to get to that big ultra race done and continue the run streak of every single day, even after running all those miles. Now the next big race coming up, like I said, is in October. It is the Detroit Free Press Marathon. Other than that, let's kind of just talk about daily miles real quick. So for daily mileage, day 178, I actually drove down, met my buddy around his house, and we decided to run just over a 15K at a state park by his house. It was actually a really hot, humid day, so it actually was really hard. But it was a really fun time to go down there and see his place and just run at a nice park. So today we were able to do 9.7 miles for the day. That put me at 33.1 miles for the week, which put me at 125.7 miles for the month, which put me at 785.9 miles for the year. Now let's focus in on these monthly miles here real quick. Every single month I challenge myself to a 100-mile challenge, and I do that in honor of a charity in which I donate money, as well as I start a fundraiser for during that month to honor the 100-mile challenge. So for the first 5 months, we were able to raise money and awareness for 5 great charities, as well as hit all of the 100-mile challenges. Now we're sitting here in the month of June, and we're doing a 100-mile challenge in honor of the Alzheimer's Association, and that is because the month of June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. So if you would like to make a donation to this month's fundraiser, you can find the link to do that on the Defining Discipline Instagram story, as well as the Defining Discipline Facebook story. Or you can find it on my personal page's Instagram story or my personal page's Facebook story. Within those stories, at the very top of it, it'll say donate on Facebook. You click on that, it'll open up the Facebook link in which you can donate. All donations that get made to this charity go directly to this charity. Facebook does not take any percentage of your donations. I do know times are tough right now, and some people may not be able to make donations, or maybe you have made a donation and you'd still like to help out. One good thing you guys can do either way is to click that share button as well, because the whole thing we're trying to do besides raise money is to raise awareness, and the best way to raise awareness is to get as many people's eyes on it as possible. And clearly, you know more people that I don't know. I only know a limited amount of people, and you are one of them because you're following along. And you know people that aren't maybe following along. So if you click that share button and they're able to see it, and you let them, ask them to share it, we can just hopefully continue to just share and spread as much awareness for these causes, especially during their months that they are represented in. So that being said, you kind of know now about that. Now let's kind of just focus in a one quick challenge that I've put on myself here this past month, towards the end of the month. But I've put on myself because at the beginning of the year I really wanted to do it, and I started to and kind of fell off of it and just really focused on my running. But I wanted to become a better reader, and I wanted to become a better speaker as well as expand my vocabulary. In order to do so, I have to read and challenge myself. So I challenge myself to do 30-minute reading sessions a day, as well as do a word of the day and just kind of read and try to expand my vocabulary. As for the reading session, yesterday I told you that 2 days ago I was unable to do it because we were prepping for my buddy's barbecue party, and I stayed up all night prepping food for it, and actually got up, was going to do it in the morning, got up early in the morning, and it still continued to prep the food that I didn't get finished the night before. So I plan to maybe try to do it that night, but still was unable to do it because actually when I got home that night I had to record yesterday's episode and got it up I think the audio version was up before midnight. I think the video version didn't get up until past midnight. So either way, I was unable to read yet again last night is the moral of the story. But I'm going to try to read again tonight. The main thing is the goal is to do 30 minutes a day. I'm not going to hit it every time, and I'm not going to lie to you guys that I'm doing it. I'm not going to tell you, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this. I'm reading it. So I promise. No, I didn't read. But the book I am currently reading and trying to finish is Beyond Order by Jordan Peterson. It is the second book in his 12 Rules for Life series. So far, I'm on the first chapter of his second book, about halfway through it. So far, I have really enjoyed it. So that's all I can tell you. Really looking forward to getting along farther in it. And the thing with me, too, I think I've discussed it before in a couple of these previous episodes, is I am a slow reader because I can read fast, but when I read fast, I don't retain anything. I just read it and then don't really realize, hey, what did I just read? I'm reading these words, but I'm thinking of other things as I'm reading. So I got to really, slow down and, put myself in that mindset and, really read slow in order to really absorb all the information that's within the book. So, and especially with his books, sometimes I find myself reading it once or twice to really try to grasp his explanations and things like that. So, really excited about that book, though, and going to continue to do other books as well once I get this one finished, whenever I do that. But now for word of the day, guys. It is desiccate. It is to dry up or become dried up, to preserve a food by drying, dehydrate, or to drain of emotional or intellectual vitality. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to take a drink of water here for the audio version. I have a little tickle in my throat. So now that we've talked about the reading challenge, we've talked about the fundraiser, we've talked just about the monthly miles and the challenges. Let's get into today's episode. Today is day 178, ladies and gentlemen, and it is a great day. It was a good day, like I said. We went out early today, went down there and visited my buddy who I haven't seen in a while, seen his kids, seen his wife, seen his family. Hung out them for a little bit after the run, and was just able to get out there and do a run with an old friend who back in the day we never had these healthy habits, so it was nice to go out and do a healthy thing with an old friend. But let's get into today's episode. Like I said, episode 178 for today's theme, ladies and gentlemen. It is choices. And I say that because we make choices every single day, and the choices we make are a deciding factor of what's going to happen within the future. And I know, obviously, yeah, everyone knows that, but I don't think we really put it into lots of thought when we make a lot of these easy choices. And me, I'm a very indecisive person, so this podcast is also about things for me that I need to work on. I need to be a better decider, one who can choose quicker and not overthink things too much, which has been an episode before, is I think a little bit too much sometimes. Um, but yeah, so choices, we tend to make a lot of choices, and we don't really think about maybe the overall outcome of these choices that we make. And sometimes we make choices, and the choices we make also can reflect on our emotions, because we make bad choices, we make good choices, and we know when we're making those choices. Like I said, sometimes we turn the blind eye to them, but we know if, deep down inside, if they're a good choice, if they're a bad choice, if we're being a good person or a bad person. But we make those choices anyway. We're never going to be perfect. Sometimes the choices we make are mistakes. We don't necessarily mean to. Sometimes we do are more malevolent in it, and we do mean to do it. But the point is we make these choices, and we don't really think about how much they, one, reflect on us, but reflect on the people around us, and those people around them. And I think we can always make better choices, and it's something that we should always continue to work on. Um, for me, I've made so many choices in my life, and I've made so many bad choices, and that's the thing, is I've had to really reconcile with those. I've had to really go back and live with them and deal with them and think like, well, why did I do that? Well, maybe it was I just wasn't thinking, or I was selfish, or whatever the case may be. It was those choices, and I made those choices, and I could dwell on them, and I can let those choices that I previously made define me. Okay, so I can use past choices that I've made and let that define me of who I am, and let even those past choices, a lot of people will define you for that. So they will define you for your past and those choices you've made. So one, that's a good reminder to, one, always try to make good choices if you want to be remembered in a good way. But two, no matter what, people are going to define you, but it's how you define yourself with those choices you've made. So you can let those bad choices you've made in your life, or those good choices you've made in your life, whatever the case may be, you could either dwell on them, or really just only focus on them and let that decide how you look at yourself as a person. Or you could look at those bad choices that you've made in your life, because everyone makes bad choices. We're human, and you can look at them as a stepping stone, as a learning point, as a place where you realized, hey, you know what? I was given this opportunity, and I made a bad choice here. I'm not going to let it define me. I'm going to use it as a lesson. So next time I come across a particular situation that is, really relevant to this one, I know what not to do. And there's so many times, you've made bad choices, that you're going to get a redemption. You're going to get a chance at redemption. And again, how you really truly visualize yourself. Maybe, like I said, maybe you feel shame. So instead of being able to forgive yourself and move on and use those choices as a turning point in your life, you dwell on them and fall deeper into it and get worse and worse and worse. It all boils down to the choices that we make and how we reflect on those choices we make. And we tend to make good choices, and when we do make those good choices, yes, you can ride off those good choices, but sometimes the good choices aren't always as thrilling or exhilarating as making bad choices. So to each their own. I just know living a life of more good choices is a better way to go. Sometimes, like I said, it doesn't seem as fun or interesting, but things tend to work out a lot better when you try to make those better choices. So like I said, I've made many choices in my life that are awful, that I've tried to really take from, learn from, and move on, and really focus on, like I said, just learning from those experiences and those choices that I've made, and keeping that in mind. So next time I come across something like that, I know what not to do or what I should do. So we always make choices, and maybe we come to parts in our lives where you don't want to make a choice. So you decide you're going to take that stand, and you're not going to decide, no, I'm not going to make a decision. Well, you can do that, and that's fine. That's great, but I don't think that's a great route as well, because when you take a stand and you decide not to make a choice, the choice is going to get made either way. So, whatever the case may be, I don't know what the situation is, but you can take it any way you'd like. The choice is going to get made either way, so you might as well be there to be part of the decision making. You better, you can just wait around and say, I'm not going to make this decision, I'm not going to make a choice, but eventually time will make that choice for you or for someone. So choices. We have so many, and every single day, I think one thing we tend to do is we try to take the easiest route within our choices. And I think that is another thing about choices that is a fallacy. I think the easy way is, yes, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy an easy day sometimes, and relaxing, and taking it easy every once in a while. Clearly, I run every single day, so I'm still exercising. But yes, I do like to just relax and chill out and take it easy sometimes after running. But it's just the easy choices, the choices that we make to make the things easier in our lives sometimes are, I feel like sometimes can be very, very detrimental. So I think it's not necessarily making us softer or anything like that. I just think it's making us less capable because we're relying too much on so many other things that are basic necessities. We don't even know how to we don't even know how to make those choices anymore because we have something else making those decisions and choices for us. So I don't know. That was just kind of a little rant on choices there at the end. But let's kind of close this out. So for today, guys, episode 178, today's theme was about choices and the choices that we make. And, we're going to make good choices through our lives, but we're also going to make bad choices. And it's how we react to those bad choices, if we're going to dwell on them or if we're going to try to really move forward, and use them as fuel to be better and better and better, and try to always develop. That is a choice within itself. How are you going to react to choices? Are you going to try to continue to push yourself and take the harder route, or are you going to try to take the easier route and not push yourself? So what choice are you going to make on these choices that you are going to have to make? That is the question. So for today, episode 178, like I said, we're talking about choices and all the bad choices that we tend to make, and sometimes we can really fall into those bad choices. So today, for your daily discipline, guys, it is to really think about the choices that you are making within your life. Are all these choices you're making the best choices you could be making? Is there something that you could be doing different? Are all the choices you making choices that are not only good for you, but good for the people around you and good for the world? Or are the choices you making more malevolent? Have you made bad choices that you are dwelling on so much that it has almost paralyzed you from continuing on into making good choices because you are so content that you are a bad person because of bad choices you have once made that you don't know how to recover? How do you really think about choices? How do you think about these choices that you have made? So for your daily discipline, it is to start really thinking about these daily choices we make, even these small, minuscule choices that you think are insignificant. I want you to really think about the choice that you make on every decision that you have to make a choice. Everything is a choice. Really think about how this is going to reflect and what outcome is going to come from this choice that you make, even if it is just as small as what am I eating, what am I going to drink, what am I going to do with my day, or whatever the case is, what time am I waking up tomorrow. Every choice you make has a reaction. It's either a good choice or a bad choice. Really, for your daily discipline is to really, 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 really delve deep into these choices and really think about what is coming from this choice that you make. Is it the best choice you can make, or could you be making a better choice that is only going to improve you farther along in life? So, guys, that being said, it is getting late. I am pretty tired. Like I said, ran a 15K today. Came home, had to deal with the baby a little bit. Got some food in us. Relaxed a little bit. Now I'm getting the episode done. I'm going to go upstairs and try to get a little bit of reading in and fall asleep. So, that being said, thank you so much for following along and listening. This is the Defining Discipline Podcast. I am your host, Scott. This is episode 178. If you guys can, please give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, and a share on our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube, our TikTok, and whatever podcast streaming platform you guys have been following along and listening on. Other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 179. Make sure you guys stay disciplined. I will see you tomorrow. Peace out, guys.